Hi, and welcome to the UNAS Midwatch podcast. Thanks for listening. If you're enjoying our podcast and would really like to help us out, please subscribe and leave a review wherever you are listening. It really does help us grow our audience. If you are on Facebook or Instagram, head on over and subscribe and follow us so you never miss an episode. We also have a Patreon available, so you can help us keep this podcast going. Just look us up and become part of the UNAS today. Now sit back and enjoy the show.
What's up, guys?
Hey, buddy.
I just got the weirdest text from my wife.
It wasn't me.
That's really fun. No, I just got a whole bunch of pictures blown up, but it was like she made her and my son into cartoons. They look like Pixar characters.
What, they paid a digital artist or something to
No, that's what I thought, because I've seen those guys on like Fiverr or whatever turn me into a cartoon, but I guess it's this new app now where you can just apply your picture and then it changes it for you.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, that's what you're into. I am not, but
I don't know how I feel about it, because the app is free and it doesn't say who's the producer of it. So I treat it like one of those fat booths or the age progression ones where it's like facial recognition, that they're tracking you, right? And they're compiling all this data all for a little fun and games, just so you can share the picture and be cute.
I feel like you're about to go down the same path that you did with the what was the app that sped up your age, made you look like an old person. Rob, I know this is something new to you with this, but I've heard him go down the spiel with 6 different apps that have come out and changed faces.
Well, they're all collecting data. They're all compiled together.
There's some, he's not completely in the wrong, because it has been proven, the Garnettians are out there collecting our data.
Mm-hmm.
All the time. And that's why, I don't know, all those surveys, like what kind of potato are you, or what's your favorite board game?
What's your Sith Lord name?
Right, what's the last, your hooker name is the street that you lived on, plus your first car,
plus your address.
Your mother's maiden name.
Your
all this is collected
birth
data.
month,
add on your last 4 of your social, and that's your matrix number.
Yeah, birth date, birth year.
It's all credit building.
Yeah.
It's all Garnettian data compilations, trying to just, I don't know, it's remember the TikTok thing where it was proven that they're collecting data?
Mm-hmm.
And especially with TikTok, where a lot of those were minors, still are.
I don't know.
I mean, I don't see the harm in it, because if the Garnettians want to have
collecting
my
data?
face, no, the face thing, if they want to have my face is literally on every government ID I have. Whenever people are
oh, your government.
Yeah, but there's
government.
even people I've talked to that are oh, well, the government's to save your pictures, or they're gonna do this, or they're gonna do that. It's have you seen a driver's license? The government already has your face.
Yeah, there's a lot of public record out there that you can just find the face, and with everything with social media nowadays and all the different social media apps people have, nobody has just one social media app anymore. You upload to one, you upload to the other 5. It's all the same post, and it's all from the same person, but it's all the same friends you have on every other thing.
I mean, I guess it depends on what social media stuff you're talking about, because I have a Facebook and an Instagram. That's literally all I use. I don't have
and that's multiple social media platforms.
Yeah, but
I just said
5 different ones.
It was an example.
But there are more, because there's WhatsApp.
No. I'm
Twitter.
saying, what does a normal person have? What 5 or 6 different apps do they use?
I would say 2 or 3. A normal person.
I could agree with 2 or 3.
When you say 2 or 3, though, you're talking about your profile. But when you merge them all, right, technically, YouTube and Pinterest and Reddit are all social media apps. And they all correlate and work in tangent.
You play video games. You have an Xbox Live account.
Mm-hmm.
It's another social media thing.
I can see the argument.
And all they're doing is collecting the data.
To be fair, though, my Facebook, I have a bunch of friends on. My Instagram, I think I have like 10 or 20 followers. I only have an Instagram to look at all the hot chicks.
Okay. But you still have one, though.
Yeah.
There you go.
I'm curious, is there another reason for it?
For what?
Instagram.
Besides hot chicks?
Yeah. Like, I thought that's what it was.
I thought it was just for food.
Instagram?
Yeah, people
Fusion.
Take
food.
I think that's what it started with.
taking pictures of their food.
Well, they're all intertwined, right? TikTok started as, the company, they bought out Musical.ly and then started
Owned
to
by
go
the
the music
Garnettians.
route. Right, yeah. And then we have Instagram that was acquired by Facebook. And then because of the photos, but when they realized the videos had a way to go, they bought Vine, did away with that, and then all of a sudden, 6 seconds isn't long enough, so they go to 15 seconds.
Not the first
They're
time I've heard
all competitive. What, 6 seconds isn't long enough?
that. Did you ever use Tumblr back in the day?
No.
Back in the day?
Yeah, you know
Has
what
it gone?
was. Tumblr? So, Tumblr used to be the go-to place for, like, porn. Like,
I was going to say, even
so
the
many
name
people.
screams porn.
Yeah. And then Tumblr a couple years ago purged all the porn from their website. They were like, we're not going to support that stuff anymore.
For
Lost.
like 5 days, though.
Lost
that's
90%
still,
of their
to this
people.
day, that is still a thing. Like, I logged into my old Tumblr account like a month
So,
ago.
there you go. That's 3 social media platforms. Keep going.
Whatever. I logged into my old
Boom.
Tumblr account like a month ago, and just to test it, nothing. I couldn't find anything. And it's hilarious because I went and looked at one of those websites that's like concurrent users tracking and whatnot, and from the moment that they went no porn, like their entire user base dropped like 90%.
Oh, I'm sure.
I was like, holy
I literally just said
crap.
that on a whim.
But like their entire user base dropped. I was like, oh my god,
Yeah, I used to have a joke that talked about, like,
Did
my
Tumblr
Tumblr account.
did Tumblr become faith-based all of a sudden?
No, it was meant to be for artists, is what they said.
Mm.
Like, it's a place to express art. But for a
Porn-
long
porn
time,
is art.
Tumblr was the place to go to for, like, porn gifs or, like, porn blogs.
Mm.
Like, that's a whole nother conversation. But, like, I knew tons of people who went to it just for that. And they were like, well, they got rid of all the adult content? Like, I don't want to go there and see your pictures. That's what Instagram's for.
Mm.
That's true. I wonder what their reasoning was behind it.
I'm not sure. I don't remember
I'd like
what
to
it was.
look it up. But as far as social media platforms go and data mining, I feel like that's kind of like your search history on your browser is you don't want that data mined. Like, please, for God, do not look up my porn history.
Yeah.
Delete my browser history.
And
You
it's
know
not
what?
even
That's
like
line 1 of my living will. Just like, delete.
Not
browser.
just off my computer, off of the Xbox, off of my iPhone, off of the laptop you don't know about.
Yeah.
No one's got my dark shit on it.
If there's a sticker on it that says "Do not use," just burn that laptop. It's so full of viruses.
Yeah, right. So me and my wife started playing Pokemon Go again, right? And we haven't touched our accounts in like 5 years, right? Last time I did was when I was stationed off in another place back when the Navy was still a thing.
Well, that's what's cool about it is like you get to see all these places for Pokemon Go, and she's stuck at home doing Pokemon Go.
Right. But I noticed something. So, have you guys ever played the games?
No,
No, I'm an adult.
but I'm aware of it.
So in the game you
I'm
have
grown and mature.
you have Pokestops that you can go to, and they're like all over the place, right? And when you go buy one, you like click on it, and it gives you like items and stuff, right? Well, all of these Pokestops are made by, so they take a picture of something, upload it to the website so that they could get bought off on as being unique and cool or whatever, so people can see it, and it gets approved. Tell me why on base
Tell me
there's
why.
like 60 something of them, and it's like base chapel, base hospital. This is where this ship used to be stationed back in the day. This is.
Well, I can
this
tell you
here.
why.
Like,
It's a bunch of fucking nerds on base that want to collect all that shit, so they made them like that, and they can hit 60 stops going to work.
oh yeah, for sure. And trust me, I hit them. It's one of those things that I look at and I'm
I
like,
came into work one day early,
I even take
but
my
I didn't
wife's
get
phone.
to the building until late.
well, like here's the baffling thing. So,
Because you know how I've been late for
I
work
looked up
for,
a
like, the
YouTube
last 2
video that
weeks.
was like, hey, how you like get one made, because in our neighborhood back home, there's like nothing for like 5 miles. So I was like, oh, maybe we could do something close to our house or whatever. There's a website that you go to, and you can see every single Pokestop, right? So someone can literally go to base on the website, and if they knew what they were looking at, they could map out that entire base, where everything is located. Like, there's pictures of all types of stuff on there. I was like, oh.
So there is no operational security in Pokemon.
Absolutely not.
I believe it.
OPSEC. And back when Pokemon Go first came out, the big thing that everybody was all like excited about was the fact that you could use your cell phone camera real time to have to look around and see where the Pokemon is. And I remember seeing pictures of people screenshotting their phones. And it's like, oh,
see, doesn't that sound exactly like something the Garnettians would want to do?
absolutely.
Under the
That
guise
type
of a video
thing to
game.
me, I'm like, I'm not going to touch anything with uploading stuff, taking pictures, anything. That, I know that I'm pretty liberal when it comes to this stuff, and I don't care about much, but that one is crossing a line for me.
So wait, taking pictures of a portion of the ship is drawing the line, but taking pictures of your face is not?
No.
You're taking your privacy, and I bet you Garnetians is probably selling that shit to Sapphire.
Now, I
Or
will tell
Crunchy
you, with
Orange.
deep fakes, there's another app that I saw that's, I think it's on Facebook. I don't remember for sure. It'd be like a GIF, like a 5-second GIF of like an action scene from a movie, and it would take your profile pictures. And it's just one of those, like, to me, I think that's super cool. I don't see an issue with that at all.
Because it's super cool. That's how they reel you in. All they got to do is set the bait, and as soon as they hook you, you'll give up all your data info. Would you like to accept cookies? Yeah.
Would those be
like
like
cookies
considered a
tracking.
shallow fake?
What, because you accept it?
No. Like just the GIFs. Taking your profile picture and doing a shallow fake. It's not like a full blown out porn video where it's a deep fake.
The reverse of a porn video. You're not taking like some famous actress or something and putting them on like a porn star. You put your face on the person. How weird would that be? Like the dude. Like your favorite porn star that you'll never be able to hook up with in your life. But you could put your face on the person and you'd be like,
I'm sure it's been done by now.
oh, I'm 100% sure. Now that I'm thinking about it,
And then, he's
I
in the
could see
movie
you
right now.
putting your face on your favorite porn star. Like you play the girl.
that's gross.
I wonder if... Do you guys
Would
remember
you do me?
Cinemax back in the
I
day?
do me.
Jokingly called
Skinamax.
Oh, yeah. Oh, 100%.
You used to watch it like late at night.
Oh, yeah.
After hours.
Emmanuel.
Mhm.
And then
That-
once the
that
static
softcore
clears, you
porn.
get that one blip of a good signal, and you're like, I think that was a boob.
Oh no, I had Skinamax.
Yeah,
you
I had
did?
Skinamax
Yeah.
also.
Oh, lucky.
Like, my
couldn't
mom
afford
signed
that.
up for, like, the cable package that had, like...
We didn't either. We had
all of
the
that stuff.
capacitor.
Mhm.
That gave us the free ones.
There you go.
But I
It's just
know
people
the
dry
video,
humping.
the channel you're talking about. Those were just hard. That was hardcore porn, and those are in like the 90s.
No,
Yeah.
it was softcore.
No, I watched
That's even worse.
the blurry video. It was the hardcore stuff.
Either
Back
way,
when there was only
this
like
is a
120
very
channels.
long-winded joke, but the point I was trying to drive...
Most of your jokes are.
Yes, I know. But you like watching them go at it, how there's like clearly light peeking between the guy and the girl, and they're not actually connected.
Oh, and the
Yeah.
softcore stuff.
Yeah.
Most of them actually were underwear that's skin color.
So this long excursion, sightseeing tour ride of a road trip that I'm taking you down for my joke. It's because
This is every story with you.
I know. But
I don't even
instead of
remember where we
deep
started.
Fake,
Yeah, I don't know where to start. Oh, deepfakes. That's
that's-
right. Yeah.
Soft fake.
fake, deep. That was it. That was the.
Oh my god. We're gonna come back to
I
you because you can
think-
do so much better than
I
that.
think I know where you were going with that one, but it was awful. But yeah,
I got
apologize.
faith in you. We'll come back.
in those scenes, the actors usually wear underwear, and I've even heard some of the male actors say that they will wear 2 pairs just to keep everything down, because you can get pretty intimate faking it on screen, and you want to wear the underwear. And some guys are like, "Yeah, you got to wear 2 underwear sometimes." I just happened to watch an interview. Dude was talking about a couple sex scenes that he did, and I was like, "Oh, that makes so much sense." And they'll make the underwear to where it shows a butt crack and everything.
Yeah.
Supernatural. You ever see that show? The guy that played Sam.
Mm-hmm.
Not as ripped as he let on. That was a lot of bodysuit.
That doesn't surprise me.
He'd have his shirt off. A lot of that was bodysuit. And they just make-upped it onto him. And he would stand there sweaty with his shirt off. Have like an 8-pack. But it was all a bodysuit.
That's interesting. I want to go back to Pokemon Go for a sec. Because I'm reading a book right now. One of the premises is a Pokemon Go-like game where they're walking around their cell phones trying to catch these little monsters, right? But they were chatting within the app with other users, and that's how they would set up the drug meets.
That makes sense. That's been played before using children's games to put out assassin hits and
Like
drug
cloning.
picks. Yeah,
like they just decide on a place to meet up to catch quote-unquote monster, but if you catch a Bulbasaur, that would be code for cocaine. And if you go catch a
Pikachu's the only one I know.
yeah,
Who's that?
I don't even
Zappy Boy.
Spirachu, then that would be heroin.
I was thinking cocaine could be Pikachu because you're riding the lightning.
Hey. Porn stuff. Did I ever tell you guys the story about my buddy who tried out for Bang Bros?
Think so?
Yeah, I think you have.
Have I?
Yeah.
I'm not going to tell you the story.
Yeah, we'll save your buddy 20 more minutes. Again. You do this a lot, you know that?
I realize. I have like the same 7 stories that I rotate. You know, I think that's how all of us are.
Are you guys... Oh my god, there's someone new.
Well, like
I
you're,
have 7 stories for you.
you were-
I think we
like-
all do that, though. You hang out with somebody for too long, you start to know all their stories, and then somebody else walks in, and all of a sudden, there's a new person for my 7 stories.
yeah, buddy.
So then you have to hear that person. And it's not just Drew, it's not just me, it's not just you. Although we do that a lot in the shop now. I had these friends on my first command, and I would straight cut them off and finish the story for him because I had heard the story so many times. And he was
Just
an
mean.
he was an older guy. He was a E6.
You're old. You should have more stories than this.
Yeah.
What's a story that you've heard from me a bunch of times?
Oh God, I don't know. It's usually when you start telling him, because even like the story of you and going home and realizing you're not as fat as you are because you look at people and they're really fat, and the guy that barely got to the end of the driveway before he was out of breath. I've heard that story a bunch of times.
Did I ever tell you the story about Rihanna?
About Rihanna, the battleship chick. I don't know. I could tell you if you start telling it.
About my buddy meeting her. I'm not giving away too many details, so I don't like retell my story and then you make fun of me.
Well, retell the
I've
story.
never heard you tell a Rihanna
I mean,
story.
tell the story.
So when I was stationed in Japan, I worked at security, and Rihanna and a couple other people came out when Battleship was done.
Oh yeah.
Out to the
You did tell
USO.
this story before.
Have you heard this story?
Yeah.
You're like, oh, that reminds me.
No, yeah.
Okay, goodbye.
I remember now.
Have
It
you
was
heard this
it
one,
was because
Chris?
of Battleship. I remembered.
The documentary Battleship.
No,
Where she had to go
the
fight
much
the-
worse Battleship.
She had to go fight the aliens.
Yeah,
Yeah,
The
that's
documentary.
the documentary. Shit's real.
Have you heard this?
where she
story,
shot all the guns and the missiles and the
she stood
rockets
watching combat.
all at once by herself because she's like the gunner's mate. Yeah, you've told
you
it a
heard-
couple
Have
times.
you
VSS team member?
heard this story from me?
He
I
has.
don't think
he
so.
doesn't. You have.
I can tell you a story that just happened to me. So my wife packed me a bunch of shirts. I think I told you guys she works at like a shirt printing place now. She had packed a bunch of shirts and sent them to me, and I was trying them on, and one of the larges that I put on didn't feel right. Right, like the sleeves were really short,
It was a girl's shirt.
and thanks for ruining the story.
Well, that
But-
was a way huge foreshadowing. We know where you're headed.
Yeah.
Well, either
Sleeves
way,
don't fit right.
long story short, I put it on, and I thought maybe it was like some type of like athletic trim shirt or
Long
something.
story short.
Because there are some shirts that I've bought before that have shorter sleeves that are meant for like workout shirts and stuff. So I was like, did she send me this on purpose? and I like sent her a picture of me in it, and I was like, I look like a busted can of biscuits right now, you know. And I was like, what the fuck is
Poke
that
your
shirt?
belly.
I was like, what is this shirt? And she was like, send me a picture of the tag, and I sent it to her, and she was like, read it more closely, and I look at it, and it says like women's large or
yeah.
something like that. I was like, why did you send this to me? She was like, oh, I must have thrown in the wrong size, my bad.
I did that with a PT shirt. So, and I went to PT wearing it.
Oh, I bet you look so sexy.
It fit my body, but the arms were the obvious giveaway.
Would have been better if you didn't go to PT in the shirt. It was like in your car, and you rolled up like 2 minutes late. You had to throw it on real quick, and as you put it on, you're like, oh my god.
Oh no, I put it on before I left the house.
That's even worse.
Drove to work, got out of my car, walked to the gym, got in the group, started PTing, before someone was like, why are your sleeves so short? I don't know why. I think you have a girl shirt on. I am a big dude. I'd hate to see the girl that fits into this. Yeah, that's a woman's shirt, dude. I was like, no. And sure as shit, it was a woman's PT shirt.
How long ago was this?
It was only a couple years ago.
Yeah, I think that was the thing that threw me off the most, because I asked my wife, I was like, are women just not allowed to have sleeves or something? Like, why are all the sleeves so short? I don't understand. Like, why is that the defining characteristic? Like, oh, it's got short sleeves and it's a little tighter than it should be. Oh, that's a girl shirt. You know, I was like, it's just weird.
Well, you notice they also like bevel in the waistline.
Oh, trust
I
me,
don't
I
even know
noticed
if that's
when
the
I
right
took
word,
the
but-
picture and sent it to her. Because I,
It happens
ever,
to
like-
the best of us.
Shrink wrapped or like vacuum sealed a packet of hot dogs, and then you have like sealed in between each fold.
What's really weird is the guys that shave their heads, and it's like their skin falls back in the back of their neck, and then they have the pack of hot dogs back there.
Oh yeah.
we have
Ever
somebody
seen
we
that?
work with like that.
My father accidentally put a pair of Hanes Herways on in the morning, getting ready for work. They were folded in his drawer, so he picked them up, put them on, and he wears whitey tighties. These were like similar in look to whitey tighties, but for a female, so there's no like pea pocket in the front.
Like little boy shorts, kind of like higher waisted stuff.
With the booty
So,
cheek just sticking out that.
He went to
extra
work
little bit.
all day and wore them around all day, and it wasn't until he got home, underwear was creeping out the back as he was bending over, and my mom saw it. She's like, what are you wearing? And he's like, what do you mean? She goes, you're wearing your daughter's underwear.
Oh my gosh.
And
That's even worse. I thought you were gonna say like your mom's.
Like he bought the wrong package or something in
no,
the store.
it was just folded in his drawer, so it got accidentally put in his drawer, in his underwear drawer. So, you know, I don't know how you guys fold laundry, but I fold all my underwear in a pile and I just throw them into my dresser, and I just pick the next one up. And that's what he did. He just picked the next one up early in the morning. He was a carpenter, so he has to leave the house by like 5 a.m. So this is like 4:30 in the morning.
Pitch dark.
Yeah. Yeah.
He's like, I was wondering why they're so soft. Silky.
That's was his next words. He's like, oh my god, I was wondering why these are so comfortable.
He was like, I was about to go buy some more. These things are great.
See, at that point,
So for Christmas, we bought him a pack.
Did you wear
of
them?
the women's or
No, he didn't wear
oh,
them.
of extra
Of
things?
Hanes Her's Way.
Oh, that's funny. After that, I don't even think you could recover and be like, oh, sorry, honey, here's your underwear back. I'm done using
No,
No,
those
just
are
burn 'em.
burnt and
Yeah, they
buried.
just-
No little girl's gonna go, yeah, sure, I'll put those back
Yeah,
on.
it was only a one-time use. Don't worry about it.
I only had my dad's balls in my underwear.
God.
There's like a brown stain in the bag.
Oh,
A construction site, you have all that summer heat
Yeah.
sweat stained all up in there.
that's what I'm thinking. And what was funny about it is it wasn't like over the top girly. There was only just a very, the top
there's like a
band of
frilly-
underwear. It was very small, and it was like slightly white and purple, with Hanes Her Way written in purple letters. And it was really small, but I know for a fact he spent the day bending over.
Yeah,
so
like picking up a nail gun or
Ripping
something.
ass in
Like,
it and-
just ripping ass and sweating ass, and he
just burn them.
and Chuck
Yeah.
is next to him, be like, Dale, bro, take a look.
That's what I was thinking.
they're,
Like
like,
somebody
mocking
on
him all
that
day.
site had to have seen it, and he
He just
wasn't
goes
embarrassed.
Laundry day.
Yeah. Hey man, you ever wear them? Pretty comfortable.
We used to have this one guy that would go commando while he was sleeping, and this isn't really my story, but I remember one of the guys that used to work in the shop slept on the bottom bunk under him. So when you pull the curtains closed, out at the top of the curtain is a like gap within all the ruffles and stuff. And he used to bitch all the time that he would get out of his rack, but he would look out the gap to see if he had left yet so he could get out. But he would always like look up right at that time, seeing his wang dangle down in front of him, like just gotta wait for GM1 to leave.
All right, let's go get sodas.
Yeah, why don't you
Okay,
go get
that
sodas
was-
and he can tell me the Rihanna story.
That was
That's
a
fine.
fact.
Okay, bye.
And then you can realize that you've heard it before. All right, I'm back. Here you guys go.
Hey,
God,
but I knew that I hadn't told you the Rihanna story. Rob, I thought has heard it, but I knew you hadn't heard it yet.
Everybody's heard it.
I think Leon and you.
yeah,
have.
now
Yeah,
I hadn't
everybody's
heard it before.
No, you've heard it. I'm not trusting your memory, dude. Your memory sucks. You have heard it. I'm
I
telling
think
you.
he would remember that story.
No, he has heard it. Because I know you've told it to all of us together. He was probably just in his little Chris World ADHD.
Maybe I had something going on the computer. I was answering an email.
He was typing in the code.
I don't know. But he has heard it. So now you've heard it again. And you'll forget it in like 2-3 weeks.
That's perfect for me because that means I can retell my same 7 stories and he won't remember them.
Like have Bills come on down and you're like, hey man, like, let me tell you this story real quick about Rihanna.
I bet you Bills would get a kick out of that.
I'm sure Bills has already heard it.
Well, let me tell you another story about the other text my wife was sending. So the
Again,
reason
it
why she
wasn't
was
me.
sending me the cartoons.
Dirty one.
What?
It wasn't me.
No, I know.
Got me
I
on the
believe you.
counter.
Okay.
So the other text is my
Banging
son
on the
is
sofa.
pretty upset because his little girlfriend is leaving for the summer.
Aw, that's sweet
Yeah.
and wholesome.
And
Doesn't he know all the strange he can get on the side while she's gone?
see, that's what I'm saying.
Isn't Oliver like 7?
Yeah.
What's your definition of strange at 7?
Yeah, well, he's not tied down to one girl to play with. He can go and ride bikes and,
Dig up worms.
yeah, or
Yeah.
hide worms.
Sandbox.
do
He
what,
could-
like, maybe she's got different Barbies, and his G.I. Joes can get some different Barbies. So the G.I. Joes are getting strange. Oliver's getting strange.
Well, he's been telling me about this girl a lot lately because things are getting pretty serious,
Ooh.
right? They went down the slide together at the same time and held hands on the way down.
Was he Big Spoon or Little Spoon?
Was it a metal slide, too?
No, it was
Those
like a tubular
burn your
slide.
ass.
9,000-degree metal slides?
They should bring those back.
Yeah, because,
Children
you know,
will be dying left and right.
Children will learn about thermodynamics
and they'll also
Celsius and
lose
Fahrenheit.
all the feeling in their ass because all the nerves will melt.
Good. Then we can also bring back spanking, and they won't feel it as much when we whoop their little ass for being punks.
Anyways,
And it defeats the purpose.
how else has this gotten super serious with Oliver and his...
Well, just because he's held hands with her. But my wife was telling me over text that he was upset. She's leaving for the summer. And so he was asking about her, being pen pals or staying in touch and whatever. So he tells her the romance that he had found a little plastic green gem, like a little stone, right? But plastic jewelry. And he was holding on to it all day. And they went out on the back porch of daycare while it was storming and raining, and they stood next to each other watching the rain. And she tells me He was waiting for the perfect moment. 7 years old. He was waiting for the perfect moment, and that felt like it was it. So he gave her the gem. And my wife says, "Oh, really? And then what happened? Like, what did she say?" "Oh, she said thanks."
Sounds about
And that's
right.
it. And that's the story.
I was half expecting you to say drop down to like one knee and like all that stuff.
No, that's what you would think, but it's just so funny because he's waiting for the perfect moment, and he has this long, drawn-out preparation just
Was
for
he
the climax
happy
to
with
be
the
like,
thanks?
"Oh, she said thanks."
Yeah, was he happy with that?
Yeah, he
See,
said it
that's
was
the
the
wholesomeness
perfect
of a
moment.
child.
He was
It is
giving
because
her
he
this
doesn't
gift.
realize that that's friend zone.
Yeah.
That's the friend zone answer. Oh, thanks.
It's like when you
Poor
tell a
guy.
girl that you love her and she goes, "That's so sweet."
Yeah.
"Oh,
You're
you're
Oh,
cute."
my
Yep.
soul.
No. Friend zone.
I actually did have a time when I was like 19. I asked a girl out on a date, and we were talking. Right, we'd been on like 3 or 4 dates at this point. I thought we were dating, like together, right? And we were talking, and she said that, "Oh no, you're just a really good friend." Blah 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 blah. I'm not interested in you like that. And I was like, "Oh." And waiter comes over and he's like, "All right, blah 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 blah. Is this one check or two?" And she goes, "It's one." I said, "It's two." And she just kind of like looked at me like, "What?" It's like, friends pay for their own meals.
Yeah,
true.
like you should have waited 8 minutes to break me the news.
Well, and like in my brain, that's not being an asshole. It's like, well, if we're dating,
That's
as
different.
like your boyfriend, I'm gonna like buy you lunch or whatever. Like, but if we're just two friends hanging out, like I'm not gonna buy lunch for one of my guy friends I go out to lunch with. Like,
Yeah, you need to save your money for the girl that you're gonna be dating.
right.
It's
And
true.
it was just one of those, like, the look on her face was priceless. And she's just like, "What? Yeah, how's that a surprise? Like, we're not dating, then I'm not going to pay for your stuff."
What's
Like,
the
it just
weirdest
seems
reason?
common sense to me.
What's the weirdest reason you've ever been turned down?
Weirdest reason?
Yeah, like the excuse for them saying no, like when you've asked to go out on a date or something like that.
Come back to me. I got to think about that for a second. What's yours? Because obviously you got one if you brought it to the table.
Well, I don't know if it's the weirdest, but I just thought about it. One time I asked out this girl, and she said no because she's Mormon and I'm not, and we go to the same church. So she only wants to date other Mormon guys.
Only you
And
found out she was into
therefore-
more men.
Ooh, there you go.
That's
funny.
good. I like that one.
You should take that and put it right into your database.
Anyways,
No, that's it. Because
No.
I can't date you because you're not Mormon.
I have been dumped. I've not been dumped. I've been not gone out with due to religious reasons. I not being religious, and she was very religious. I've been dumped. A funny story about that one is I was dumped because she cheated on me and she told me.
and she dumped you?
So
You didn't dump her?
it was she. No, she dumped. She told me in the process of dumping me.
Okay, so it was one fell sweep. It wasn't
Yes,
like
it wasn't like
like a pause. You're like,
No.
"Well, I guess we can work this out." And then she's like, "Oh, by the way."
it was like, hey, I'm dumping you because I cheated on you.
That's that's considerate. I'll accept that.
Well, I mean, she probably should have broke up with me before she cheated
Yeah.
on me.
But she made the mistake.
Here nor there.
At
We were
least was like,
teenagers.
you know.
It was like freshman year of high school. So I go into sophomore year just hating this chick passionately. I despised her. And we had a class together, and she hated me too. She dropped the class, went to a different class. I stayed. I didn't do nothing wrong. I'm staying. So
I'm not giving up my electives for no one.
so I ended up having another class with her senior year. Bygones were bygones, and she was in the front of the class, I was in the back of the class. We didn't really talk. And And then one day she just came back and sat next to me, and we started talking, and
Wait, I have questions. I want to come back to it.
she is starting to like make fun of me, and having not really talked for like 3 years, she doesn't know how I've gotten a lot better at the making fun of part. And so we started, yeah, she started ragging on me. So I was like, are you sure you want to do this? I'm really, really good at it. She said, whatever. She's like, I broke up with you. I was like, that's because you fucking cheated on me, you whore. And she was like, I didn't fucking cheat on you. I was like, bullshit, that's exactly what you told me. She's like, yeah, that was a lie. You were just kind of boring. I wasn't really having that much fun.
Oh, that's terrible.
Yeah, I think it was actually worse.
Yeah, that's so much worse. That's like, you don't know me. I've changed a lot in 3 years.
Yeah, exactly. And what she didn't know at the time was she was actually my first girlfriend.
That's kind of depressing.
Freshman year, first girlfriend.
And so that's why you were boring.
Boring. I didn't know what the hell I was doing.
I've actually been turned down from a girl. I wanted to sleep with her, and I had no interest in really dating her, but I just asked to like sleep with her.
I don't want nothing to do with you.
And she
But
said,
can we sleep
no,
together?
Because she would have been my first. And she stressed. She's like, come back to me after someone else, because I'm not going to be doing the teaching.
I mean,
And that
that's
was
fair.
legit her excuse.
That's fair.
Did you go back?
No.
And that keeps you awake at night to this very day.
It does.
Yeah.
20th high
That's
school
PTSD.
reunion coming up here pretty soon.
Post-traumatic sex disorder.
So you talk about the weird stuff. I'm 5'7". I know you guys make fun of me for being short all the time, but I'm 5'7". I asked a girl out who was 4'11". I was like, perfect. She's short. Asked her out. She said I wasn't tall enough.
What?
4'11". I said, you don't even have a 5 in your height. And
Yeah.
she said, I only date guys 6'1" and above.
That's fair.
I was like, but you're 4'11". Why 6'1"?
I see a lot of tall guys that date really, really short chicks.
And so she doesn't have to scuff her knees. She can just stand there.
The other one for me was, I was like 21, 22. I asked a girl out, and she said, no, I'm not going to date you. You've had sex with my mom.
Wait, what?
I didn't know this. Apparently, me and her had been talking for like a week, right? She had shown her mom a picture of me, and it was a girl that I had hooked up with like 6 months prior.
What?
I was like, no. She showed me a picture of her mom, and I was like, she was like,
what's the
yeah.
age range of these two girls?
Well, she was my first like MILF cougar lady that I'd ever been with. She was in like her mid to late 40s. The other girl was like my age.
Really? What
But
are
I
the
was
odds?
I was like, when she told me that, I was like, bullshit. She showed me a picture of her mom and her next to each other, and I was like,
Oh,
I have a type.
Yeah, you're right. I have a type.
Now, the nice thing with that, though, is that, and I told her this when, like, she was like, no, I'm good. And I was like, well, we can at least, like, still talk and be friends, right? She's like, oh, yeah, I'm just not going to date you. And we were laughing about it later, and I was like, everyone always says that if you want to know what a girl's going to look like when she gets older, look at her mom. Obviously, I'm into you in your 40s, so you ain't got to worry about me cheating if we get married. She didn't think it was super funny. I thought it was hilarious.
You're like, come on, that's a funny joke.
I'm like,
We're
you're gonna
friends here, right?
It's like you're gonna be 25 years down the line, and I'm still gonna want to bang you, obviously. But how small of a world? I can't believe it. You know what I mean? 4'11" thing. That's gonna make me.
That's how
angry.
small a world it is. 4'11" and 5'7".
Right.
Can't match. But so, let me go back to my other thing real quick. So you said in class she came back to sit by you?
Mm-hmm.
Did you not have assigned seating in high school?
No.
we didn't either.
Really? Like, we had our seat.
I think they had
that's
like
our
they had like
seat that
assigned
stayed.
seats in the beginning of class,
Yeah.
but no one paid attention to it.
We didn't have, like, this is high school, so there's nothing inside the desks. It's just all those, one thing
No,
to throw
yeah.
under your desk, just to, like, throw your backpack under your chair, and then enough room to put one sheet of paper in your arm on.
See, I feel like maybe it wasn't assigned seating, but if we were free to sit somewhere, you kind of just found your spot, and then that's where you sat for every other class from then on. Like, you still had your seat, whether the teacher told you to or not. But I couldn't imagine walking in from day to day and just picking a new spot every time.
No,
Yeah,
it
it's
wasn't
you
like
said.
that. It was
We
like,
all had assigned seats at the very beginning
yeah,
of school.
and then everyone just kind of settled.
Yeah, once
Like,
you
every
meander.
day you came in, you were in the same spot. You didn't
Yeah.
choose a different spot every day. But
I mean, the teachers didn't care. They were just happy kids showed up to school.
Oh,
Also fair.
that's another thing. This was actually a yesterday conversation with my wife. Because my son told her, out of 22 students, I think, that on graduation day, I guess, the last day of school, there were 6 people. And she was like, really? 6 people out of 22? Like, only 6 students showed up? And he was like, oh, no. One of them was Mr. Summersgill. So there was actually 5 students. But the teacher has to show up, so that doesn't really count. 5.
What grade is he in?
Going into 3rd.
So it's not a
Just-
graduation.
No, that's why I corrected myself, the last day of school.
Mm.
But
I hate that about the mediocrity we do with kids like that. And like, you're graduating. No, you're not graduating anything. You're going from 2nd grade to 3rd grade.
yeah, I just was trying to think of the word, and that's what came. But
Giggity.
that's why I swapped it, because I feel
'Cause
the
you
same
came.
way you do.
you just brought like a core memory back into my brain that I haven't thought about in many, many moons. So,
So this could be
My-
a new story.
yeah, my
He's got-
grandpa. So, fuck you. When I was going from middle school to high school, my grandpa flew up for my middle school graduation. Right? And even as a middle schooler, I was like, this is kind of stupid. Why are we graduating? And my grandpa was so fucking mad. He was like, this isn't graduation. You're not graduating anything. You're just going from one grade to another. And at the time, I remember
This is
being
not
like,
the first day of the rest of your life.
well, at the time, I remember being like, Grandpa, you're kind of blowing this out of proportion. It's not that big of a deal. But now here we are sitting around talking about this stuff. And I'm like, oh my God, where my grandpa now?
All we
Like-
need is a rocking chair and a porch to have the same conversation.
God.
And like a meerschaum pipe to point with.
But I remember listening to him. He was like, I don't understand. Why are we making big deals out of all these different things for kids? You're not graduating. You don't graduate till you finish the 12th grade.
Yeah.
You're just going to the next grade. Congratulations. You're not stupid. You went to the next grade. And I was like, I'm kind of stupid. But I'm still going to the next grade.
I'm a child that's not left
See,
behind.
and exactly right there. You just said it. We're celebrating mediocrity. They're giving you a graduation, and you just admitted to being stupid.
Yeah, pretty much.
Like, you, like the kid that got all A's, perfect attendance, and I'm not saying this is you, but the kid that got, C's and D's, they're both graduating.
Also fair. It's like when you see somebody who should have gotten held back in school, and the only reason they didn't is because their parents came in and freaked out and were like, he can't get held back. It's going to hurt him in the future.
I got held back, kinda.
Kinda.
Mm-hmm. In high school.
Oh, yeah?
It came down to my very last class to know, like my very last class's final exam for me to know if I was going to graduate.
It was a weird situation. Freshman year, came out the gate hot, fucked off the second half. I had found weed, decided it was more important. Ended up having to go to summer school. Came back the next year. My sophomore year, I was still technically a freshman by credit hours. So I had to take a couple classes that were freshmen, but I was also taking a couple classes that were sophomore. By the time half of my second freshman year was over, I was a sophomore. So by the time my sophomore year was over, I could then become a junior.
I'm so proud of you.
I am almost
Fucking
the
ruined my
opposite.
summer one time, and I was like, okay, we're not doing that again. Summer school
Like,
sucks.
that put me into ship shape.
Forgot all
I
about it.
kind of skipped
No, I didn't.
ahead. And so I ended up graduating early when I was 17.
It's always the one. Graduated early.
Well,
I graduated
kinda
when I was
skipped.
17.
I
too.
graduated when I was 17 too, but you always talk to that person who's like, I didn't have a prom because I graduated at the end of, or in the middle of my senior year.
I was 12.
No, I didn't do like that. What happened is,
Obviously.
when I was in the 3rd grade in Australia, I was getting my work done like super, super fast. And so I would hop across the little foyer to the 4th grade classroom and do some 4th grade work. And then once the rest of that subject was done in the 3rd grade class, I'd have to go back to the 3rd grade. And I did my work real quick and went back to the 4th grade. And this went on for several months. So when I
you
came
have
to
been
America,
pretentious since 3rd grade.
yeah,
Okay.
it's not my fault. I'm better than
It's not
everyone.
my fault. I'm smart. God.
So when I came to America,
story.
basically what happened is their full year school in Australia, and then we have our semesters here with summer breaks. So when I came, the
Giggity.
school year had already started. So I never officially finished the 3rd grade there, and then I never officially started the 4th grade here. I just kind of like showed up here and finished the 4th grade.
Interesting.
Yeah, so
So-
I kind of skipped, but I like skipped 2 half years, if that makes sense. I didn't skip a grade.
Your story just kind of brought back another core memory for me, so another like new story.
Dang,
Good
dude,
Lord,
that's
how many
9.
core memories does he have? He has a lot of. He always says that too.
A
You know, it's
core
gonna.
memory?
Yeah, it's probably like a core memory.
Well, it's like one of those things that
Like the
you don't
Pixar
think about,
colors.
Yeah.
but when you do, it pops back super vividly in your head. It's not like one of those like, wait, what happened? No, I remember this.
He's
to
gonna
the
go
T.
do his cartoon photo app and then like come out bright purple because that's his core memory feeling.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
He does because he has 17
Okay.
kids.
Anyways, so I homeschooled the 3rd and the 4th grade, right? And then got put back into public school for the 5th grade. So when I got put into public school, the very first class I walked into, because back in elementary school, everything was in one class. You didn't rotate, right? At least for us. So I walked into the classroom, and they're teaching the Boston Massacre, right? Like, that sticks out in my brain like a sore thumb.
Mm-hmm.
And the lady's like, all right, well, we're going to be doing math class next. Like, teacher comes over and is talking to me. And she's like, so where is your stuff for math? Like, how far along are you? Those 2 years that I was homeschooled was complete bullshit. They had, like, these Christian book pamphlet things that I did.
2
and
plus
I
2
didn't
equals Jesus.
actually learn anything. So, like, she's like,
That's a good
all right,
callback.
so, you know, what's your level of math? And she hands me, like, 3 different sheets and tells
I'm
me to
level
do 'em.
apostle.
I have no clue what I'm looking
Ephesians 11. I know.
at. Well, like, she
11's
was
a-
doing, like, basic algebra and, like, multiplication and division and stuff, right? She's like, so do this stuff. No fucking clue what I'm looking at, right? And she's like, well, flip over the page and write me out, like, some type of math equation.
Right, meow.
That you,
Did he say
Do
meow?
not do an English sentence.
Yeah.
Just
This
write
is math
me
class,
out,
not English.
this, like, a mathematical equation that you would see while you're in homeschool. And I remember writing, like, 7 plus 3 or something like that. And, like, looking at her while I was writing, and you just see, like, just the wave of disappointment. And the, like, oh my god, I have to deal with this? Like, I'm looking over at the front of the class, and they're, like, on the whiteboard doing, like, long division. And she's looking at my little scribble piece of paper that says 7 plus 3. And she was like, we're gonna have to work with you a good bit. I
And
was
you were
like,
in 5th grade?
Yeah.
with This? Dang.
3rd and 4th grade, I didn't learn anything.
That's
I
some
knew
impressionable years.
2nd grade level math at that point. Now, granted, I know the stuff now, but holy shit was 5th grade hard for me. 5th and 6th grade, I was like, what the fuck? Like I said, they were teaching the Boston Massacre for history class. All I knew for history up to that point, because you didn't learn history in like 1st and 2nd grade, was these like Jesus pamphlets that I had that talked about like the different types of ways that like Christianity affected America as it grew up.
The Boston Massacre, was that before or after creation?
Well, and I remember like they showed me the book, and it had like a painting or something from like the Boston Massacre, like an artist's rendition of it. And I remember at the time, the first thing that went through my head was like, "This is so hardcore. Like, what is going on?" Like, I'd never learned about American
People
history.
do this?
I had never heard about American history up to this point, and I was like a super sheltered like
So it's like the
Christian kid at
education
that
today.
point. And I was like, "Oh my god, am I allowed to learn this stuff?" Like that type of stuff. I had the my stepmom. She was like the super Christian lady. She, I remember the day that I came home and was talking about evolution, and she lost her goddamn mind. It was like, my child is not going to learn this stuff, and blah 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 blah.
I'd like to point out the irony of your statement. That hardcore Christian, you came home about evolution, and she lost her goddamn mind.
I'm not a hardcore Christian. I'm saying
No,
I
I'm
was
just
raised
saying
in
that is
environment.
one of the funniest sentences I've ever heard spoken.
Anyways, but yeah, like I said, learning about the Boston
This
Massacre.
is a core memory.
Yeah, learning about the Boston Massacre, and I was just like, am I allowed to learn this stuff? Like, that was my thing at the time. I was like, this is way too violent. I can't be talking about this type of stuff. Now look at me. You know, I discovered Doom on PC, I think that same year, and my life was never the same again.
I think it's funny, like, I can see, like, 5th grade Drew, all of 5, 6, and...
Over in the corner, with, like,
real
my
gross
crayons,
scarf,
like,
Yeah.
7 plus 3 equals 12. Like, oh my god.
One day of public school after 2 years of homeschooling, you come home and you slam the door, throw your books on the ground. Your Christian mother's just sitting there reading the Bible in the foyer, and you're like, God is a lie! Throwing your books down and charge upstairs. Your mother's like doing Hail Marys now.
No, it wasn't to that extent. But I remember coming home that day, and they're like, what'd you learn about in school today? And I was like, I learned about the Boston Massacre, and nobody knows who shot first, and blah, 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 blah. And my stepmom was like, they taught you what? My baby's not going to learn about violence. Oh, yeah. Anyways,
Yeah.
let's go get some wings, man. I like this.
Wings it is. As always, thanks for listening. If you're enjoying the show, please go and rate a review. It really does help the show out. You can find us on Facebook and Instagram at UNAS Midwatch Podcast or Twitter at UNAS Midwatch. Leave us a message or a word that Drew has to look up. CMG Doom, played by Robert Williams. Holy Petty Soldier, Chris Pike, played by Christopher Sharp. Second Sergeant Drew Scrolls, played by Andrew Mingione. Second Sergeant Leon, played by Chris Short. Logo created by Natascha Mingione. Music owned by James Clifford, created by Ian Host and Ride Free. Thank you for listening to UNAS Midwatch.